Okay, welcome into another week here of chasing 3000 iRating series we started last week. This will be week 2 of the chase, and we got 5 races I did, or is it 4? 4 or 5 anyways, we'll see coming up, that I did this week in my chase to 3k iRating. The first one we're going to start off with here is, as you can see it on the screen, is a GT4 race. It's the fixed Fanatec GT4 series. This week it was at Misano, so we did one earlier on in the week. This was a top split race. There's a lot to unpack in this one, so you have to hang tight with us, and we'll get through it all. But this one is full of bumping and banging, that's for sure. So let's go take a look and see how it's played out. Okay, we're going to move on to lap 2. Well, I guess the end of lap 1, start lap 2. So we're in 6th. We started 6th in this one. It's P5 up ahead. He's going to go wide off in the last corner as we cross the line. So we're going to go side by side into the first corner here. We each give each other plenty of room through the right-hander and then the left-hander here. Now we're going to get a little tighter as it comes in, but then we're going to come up to this double right-hander into the next heavy braking section here. I'm following in behind him, just trying to tuck in behind, but kind of slows down a little more than I was expecting in the double apex there, and unfortunately I get into the back of him. Completely unintentional. I did come over the mic and let him know I was sorry about that. I didn't mean to get into him, but obviously it is what it is. I did get into the back. Fortunately for him, that dropped him back quite a bit, so I felt pretty bad about it, but we'll move on. So thanks to that allowed the Porsche that was in behind us, car 15, to get a good run through the short straight here. He's going to duck in tight on the left-hand side, and he's going to take over that position too as well. But that's not the last we'll see of him. We're going to battle with him for a few laps here, but he's got the position for now. But we'll take a look here and see what happens just ahead in this lap. So he's going to lead us down the back straight and around the tail end of the lap. But as we come around to start the next lap here into the second corner, he goes wide. We're going to duck underneath. We'll take that position back, and that'll get us back P5. And we're going to continue on this lap because, like I said, again, there's more to come. So our next dance partner is the 6 car, who chose not to qualify. Start at the back for who knows what reason, and decided he was going to try and do a back-to-front challenge, I guess. But we'll see here, he's actually quite aggressive when he gets up to the back of us. Actually bumps into me numerous times throughout this lap, so I can see he's getting real aggressive in behind. I pull over to the left. I was going to let him by into turn 1, but he doesn't quite get the pass completed into turn 2. I try and leave him some space again. A little easier on the brakes there to let him shoot through, and then there we go, we let him take that position. But like the Porsche behind, we'll see him featured in a little bit later too as well, so hold tight. A couple laps later, we're back battling our buddy in the pink and yellow Porsche. So we got the Aston tucked in behind him too as well, leading the way in P5. He's in P6. He's going to hold real tight into the corner. The actual race line is a double apex there. I left a little more room than I should have for him to duck in. He took advantage of it. Fair play to him. So we're going to get a run down the back straight here. We're going to go side by side. If you know Misano at all, it's a real fast couple double right-hand sweepers here. So we're still going side by side. So you got to let off in this corner, brake, and then you're turning hard right into the next corner. Now, it appears that he was clear, but we'll take a little look at that. But turns out he wasn't so clear. But now we're dealing with this Aston in behind us, and he is, I don't know if he's a buddy of that Porsche, but he is repeatedly running into my back bumper every single corner here. The 11 car, this Aston Martin in the black and blue. So you'll notice it's a little hard to see on this angle here, but every single corner he's running into my my rear bumper. So initially, I was trying to keep him behind me, and then I got to the point here where he just slammed into me, and he's going to slam into me again here. Then I decided that, you know what, I'm just going to back off and let him through, because otherwise he's just going to end up wrecking me, or we're going to get into something and taking out somebody else. So I duck in behind here now to tuck in behind him, and we'll see him a little later too as well, but he's got P5 as it stands for now. And just keep an eye on who you see weaving around in the background there. It's number 6 again. He's going to come up here in a moment. But first, let's take a couple looks at the incident that I was just talking about. So here you can see from top down, we're giving space to the Porsche on the inside, but he gets up on the curbing here on the right and just kind of slides out in front of us. Wasn't clear. I held my line. There was nowhere for me to go, or not much for me to do on that one. And now we have an onboard from cockpit view of the car trailing us. It'll give you an even better view of where the Porsche kind of slid out. Obviously unintentional, but he felt I wrecked him, but it's clearly it was just a racing incident where he wasn't clear. So I felt bad, but in the end, there's not much I could have done about that. And then one more look here further with the super slow-mo. And it'll give you the final idea, and then we'll carry on from here. Okay, so we'll move on to the second to last lap here. We've caught back up to the Mr. Bumpy Bumperson, number 11 Aston. Try and chase him down to take back our position in P5. Making a move to the inside, we're going to go side by side. This is going to end up clean through here, but we're going to battle, and that'll actually allow the 6 car who we featured earlier. I'm not sure, I can't remember how he ended up behind us again, but you saw how aggressive he was driving earlier, so it's only a matter of using your own imagination to figure out how he wound up behind us again, but that's where he is. So we're going to race. He tries to duck in the inside of me, forces me out wide into the final corner as we head to the line, but I'm going to hold on to that position for now. He's going to take and think about looking to the inside here, but we're going to have that covered off into turn 1. So we'll go back and forth here for a few corners. I'm trying to chase down the Aston ahead, as well as holding Mr. number 6 behind me in the McLaren as well. So every chance he gets, he's trying to look up the inside. I'm able to get the power on a little quicker through the outside through this section here, and then I have the inside line through the following corner. So I'm going to get the run onto the straight, sacrifice an off track there to stay ahead of him. So in the mid-straight section, then we're diving into a heavy braking corner here. He tries to dive up the inside, but I didn't leave him enough space to get through there. He tries to fight through, but I'm going to hold on to the inside line. So we come into that corner where we saw the Porsche stuck underneath us earlier on, so we're in that position now. We'll be able to hold on to this position heading onto the back straight, and now it's a drag race into the final straight, into those double right-hand apex corners that we just saw us traveling through with the Porsche and the Aston earlier. So we'll see how it goes here with another one of the aggressive drivers, the 6 car in the McLaren. So we're going to go side by side through here. I'm able to hold him off. We're allowing plenty of room. He's going to think about diving to the inside here, try and force me out wide. I'm able to hold my position as it is onto the inside. I get a good run, move up ahead of him, but I just cut too much of that inside corner there, and I get a slowdown. We're on the last lap now, so I've got no time to clear it. We get around the final corner. I'm forced to do nothing else but pull over to the left and just hammer on the brakes and just to put it around the slowdown. So unfortunately, we would drop back and finish up in 10th on this day. So let's take a look at the results for this one. So we, as I mentioned, brought it home 10th after all that, after qualifying 6 in this one. Could have been a lot worse, could have been a lot better, but overall we'll take it. We gained 2 iRating on this one. Lost a bunch of safety, but that's kind of goes hand in hand with the bumping and banging we saw in this one. So we'll chalk that up to a somewhat draw between iRating. That's our main goal for this series, and the safety, we can get that back another time. So we'll move on to the next race that we did this week, which was the GTE series, was at Imola. So let's go take a look at that one. Okay, here we are at Imola in the GTE. I'm driving the Canadian flagged Corvette for Canada Day weekend here in Canada. So We're rocking, we're starting P2 in top split. I think it was only a single split either way, but starting P2, we will hold on to P2 for the first few laps. We're going to have a bit of an incident here with the car in third place. You see he's going to try to dive to the left. The track actually curves away to the left, so he's trying to make the pass on the grass. He realizes it wasn't the smartest move in the book to attempt on lap 1, so he's going to dive back into P3, and we're going to start to pull away. Try and stick with the leader up ahead, but he just a little bit too much speed for us. He opens up a couple second gap over the first 4 or 5 laps, so we would hold on to P2 for a while. But we had a buddy in this race as well, Todd Alia, who we've raced many times in some league racing, and then a bunch of times in official series too as well. Todd unfortunately didn't set a lap. Not sure if it was due to incidents or if he was just tied up to something else, but he starts from the back on this one. But we will see him working his way up through the field in a little bit, and we'll see how it plays out for him too as well. But as we travel through lap 1 here, we see we're pulling away from the rest of the pack along with P1. We're trying to stay with him as it is for now. First couple laps we stayed with him fairly close, but things played out once traffic started to kick in, and he was able to open up a bit of a gap over me. So we mentioned that our friend Todd Alia is in this race, and he was working his way from the back, so we're going to jump ahead a few laps. I'm going to say probably a good 15 minutes into the race here now. We're going to come up on a lap car that we're going to actually see off on the right hand side here, and he's going to cause me a little bit of hesitation, and that's going to lose a few seconds of time heading through that corner. At this point in time, Todd had started to close the gap on the back of us. He was only 3 or 4 seconds back now, and unfortunately that put him a little further into the draft window, as we'll see here coming up shortly. So we just saw that black and yellow Corvette on the right hand side, and then we'll take a look and see how much that closed up the gap between us and Todd behind. Todd's the blue Porsche. So you can see he's right there now on our tailpipe. So now we go a few laps later, and we've opened up a bit of a gap over Todd again now, but we come into the final sector. We see this lapped BMW that's off on the side and chooses to continue rolling as we're coming through. I had to hammer the brakes. We actually got a 0x turned into a 4x for that one, so fortunately that cost us quite a bit of time. And then you see from Todd's onboard here how far the gap closes up as a result of us having to take some evasive maneuvers here not to have a race-ending collision with that BMW. And much like the first race we featured here tonight, that BMW and that Corvette we saw earlier are going to feature again here in a little bit. So let's move ahead and see what kind of action we have coming up. So I had just been on the radio and notified Todd in behind that I was going to be pitting this upcoming lap, and wouldn't you know it, we get into the final section again, and who's out there? The pink BMW that we just had a run-in with earlier. I have no rhyme or reason why he was going so slow here, but we had to slow down so much that it almost came to a standstill. Todd had nothing he could do. He just tapped me in the back bumper, but we were heading in for our pit cycle anyways at least, so we were able to go in and get our service done, and we'll take a look here to see how our service cycle through where we come back out. So I was hoping with that slow up that Todd had to as well, we would be able to stay ahead once we completed our pit service, as we are exiting out of pit lane after completing our service. And I think it was either a lap or 2 later, Todd actually chose to come in and complete his service. So we'll come around, and as we pass by pit lane here, we'll be able to see if we're able to leapfrog Todd or if he got us through cycle time through pit stops, so we can actually see him up in the distance there. But he's actually quite a ways up there, so are we questioning a little bit whether he's got enough fuel to make it the way, or if he just had that much quicker of a stop. So we're getting towards the end of the race. I think there's only about 12 or 13 minutes to go, so let's see how this one finishes up. Take a look at another camera angle here, just to give you another idea of roughly how far back we were coming out of the pit cycles here. So I think it was roughly about three and a half seconds maybe when we came through and cycled through. So like I said, about 15 minutes to go in this one. So we've got a charge on to try and chase down Todd up ahead, and hoping maybe he doesn't have enough fuel to make it, or maybe some lap traffic will slow him down. So let's move forward in this one. So a little further on in this one, after I had to navigate around a slower lap traffic car who really just didn't want to get out of the way. He had lost the little of the bodywork on the rear, so we had a little less drag and downforce, so he was able to pull away a little bit in the straights, and then was just straight up holding me up in the corners. But we finally navigated around him, but unfortunately that dropped us back to about 5 seconds back of Todd up ahead now. But I started to notice something on the deltas and the lap times Todd was putting in. All of a sudden he started pulling about a second off each lap, so it started to wonder in the back of my head if maybe that quick pit stop Todd had, he didn't quite have enough fuel and he was starting to save. So we started clicking off half a second, 3/4 seconds off the gap each lap, slowly cutting into it. So you can start to see here in the background we're getting ever so closer each lap. You can actually start to hear where Todd was clutching and coasting, so he was definitely having to start saving a little bit of fuel now. We're down to only about 3 or 4 laps left in the race at this time, so it was a matter of whether I was going to have enough time to catch him and then make a pass, or if he was going to be able to save enough fuel to make it to the line and still stay ahead of us. So we're trying to chase him down the best we can through the final sections. You can see where he's having to clutch and coast into the corners. That's really where we're making up a whole lot of time, as we're able to stay right in the throttle, right into the braking zone, and kind of maximize our entry as much as we could into the braking zone as it is. So we're heading into the final sector here on this lap, and you can see that gap is closed down now to, I think at this point in time, it was about 1.5 seconds or so. So wasn't quite in the draft range yet, still trying to work our way up closer so we can try and make a move around Todd. But we were fighting not only the clock, but track position too as well. So I knew from racing Todd in the past that he had the skills to save fuel and still put in quick laps, so we were going to need to put in some hot laps each and every lap to be able to continue to close down that gap. As you can see, Todd's doing well at maximizing the fuel load that he has with pulling off some quick times, but we're starting to close. I'm sure he's starting to notice that red Corvette a little bigger in the mirrors, lurking in behind them. So it's all we can do to just keep the pressure on, keep pushing just as hard as we can, and try and hopefully catch up to make a pass and not be stuck back here in third. But as I mentioned, we started second, so even a third final step on the podium would have been respectful. But when you just have that carrot dangling in front of you, you know the guy in front's trying to just nurse his car home the best he can, and you've got enough fuel that you need to get to the race. You're trying to push hard as. So you can see we're definitely into the draft zone here now as we head down to the hill into the final couple corners to end the race. And this was we were coming to the white flag lap, so this would have been the last lap coming up, and we closed right on the back of the bumper here. And you can hear in the last corner Todd's car is starting to sputter a little bit, so he just couldn't quite save enough to get around one more lap. And see him having to duck into the pits, and there we go by to take back a second spot. And it's unfortunate. I would have liked to pass him on track, but it is what it is. I'm sure Todd will get me many times over again down the road. So that leaves us all alone to run on the last lap. At this point in time, we were about 8 or 9 seconds back of the leader, so all we could do was just bring it home, claim our P2. I think we were about 20-25 seconds up on P3, so there's no danger there of losing a second spot. Just a matter of bringing it home clean, safe and sound as we head into that final section where I had more than enough incidents in this race to last me for a while in this section. So we nurse it through and we head to the line to claim our second place position. And there we go. It's been a while since I ran GTE. It was a fun race. especially with the added suspense of the fuel mileage game. So let's go take a look at the results from this one. Okay, so there we go. We picked up some safety rating in this one, 0.03, even with all those incidents with the back markers, and 57 iRating. So that moves us up to 2533 now on our chase for 3K. So we're getting closer, ever so closer. And next up is a radical race that we did at Red Bull Ring. So let's have a look at that one. Okay, as we just mentioned, radicals at Red Bull Ring. We started P2 in this one. You can see us in the multicolored car on the right hand side. We get a pretty good jump to start this one, hop up into P1. I'm going to take P1 into the first corner and hold on to it. So I've already uploaded this one as a standalone video, so we're not really going to take a look at this one. You want to see it? Go have a look at the link in the description below. And let's have a look at the results in this one. So we brought home 44 iRating in this one. Lost a little bit of safety, as you'll see when you go and watch the video to see what happened throughout this one. But a little bit of safety, gained some iRating, so we're trucking along. That's 2 decent iRating hauls in a row. And we got one more race left for this week. Let's cue that one up and see how we finish off the week. So here we are in the series that started last season, BMW M Power Tour, I believe is what they call the full extent of it. It's a 30-minute race, fixed setup, changes track, changes BMW car each week. It's actually kind of fun, especially if you like driving various different types of vehicles each week. So this week it was in the Legacy BMW Z4 GT3. You can see us driving here. We started P1 in this one. Wasn't the highest SOF strength of field race out there. It was only a single split. So qualified P1, and well, spoiler alert, we would hold on to P1 the whole way through, finishing about 8-9 seconds up on the field in this one. But it was a good solid way to end up the week. If you're definitely looking for some fun fixed setup racing, longer races, a lot of the fixed setup races are 15-20 minutes. This one being a half an hour gives you more time to be out on track. Longer tracks with more corners, you can actually gain a fair bit of safety rating too as well if you're clean in it. So worth a look, especially when the BMW Z4 comes up, because it was a blast to drive. It was probably one of the better GT3s back in the heyday of when it was not a legacy car, whenever it was one of the standard GT3s, but then the M4 came along and replaced it. But so that's how we did on this one. That's how we ended up the week. 4 races that we gained iRating on, so it's a good week. Let's go take a look and see what our final total is for the week. Okay, so there we have it. We gained another 43 iRating, and we gained some safety rating this week too as well. So nice little way to finish the week. So we're going to end up with 2.620 for our iRating for the week. And I think we overall gained back some most of the safety rating we lost out of that rough race to start the week. So we're going into next week starting at 2.6K. We're getting closer to our goal of 3K, and if it keeps up this way, as I hope it does, obviously there's going to be some bumps on the road here and there. We could be hitting that 3K milestone a lot sooner than we had planned. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you check out next week too as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you get any notifications, whether it's live streaming or new video uploads. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Bye for now.